The greatest challenge publishers go through in this country is readership. Many people will argue that Kenyans read. I am among the few who will tell you it's not true. Kenyans don't read. And those who read to pass exams. If you get out of school, many people put their books down. This is a terrible thing to happen in a country like ours. Even the autobiographies I'm talking about, if you sell 3,000, 4,000 copies of a book in this country, you've done very well. And we are talking of a country that has a population of 45 million people. If you ask me, we should have sold 1 million copies, not 1,000 copies. The same goes with novels, and we have some great novels in this country. Again, unless a novel is a set book, you will not sell in thousands. You will only sell maybe hundreds, meaning that very few people will have seen that book. And that is the problem. People will argue about price. People will argue about the book not being very well written, especially if it's written by an African. And I talk of that as, again, something very close to my heart. And I say we have a big problem where we hate ourselves. We tend to hate what we do ourselves. The same thing that we want to buy imported clothes is the same thing that people will think a book written by an outsider out there is far superior than a book written by a Kenyan. It's all nonsense. The books written by Kenyans are as good, if not better, than some of those books written outside there. The quality of production, local, is as good as you can get anywhere else. So I would encourage Kenyans to think hard. Instead of going to adult classes in the evenings, by adult classes I mean going to bars to have a drink, etc., go and take a book with you and read. It will give you a better view. It will make you a better person because reading empowers you. Kenyans don't read. You will witness some reading newspapers upside down or buying newspapers as a status symbol, not because they want to read the newspaper. If you ask them in the evening, they might not even remember what the headline is all about. And it's unfortunate. That's the situation we find ourselves in. You may put an advert in the papers, and a very limited few will actually see that advert, making I think is making a joke of the years we spent in school. We need to change. That's the biggest challenge, that the market is shrinking by the day, leaving us with a school market. So we appear like we only publish books for schools. Yet we have a lot of books that the ordinary person, the ordinary mwananchi, can read and benefit. We even have books that will improve in agriculture. We have books that will make people better drivers. But who reads these books? Even our lawyers, they say they read books. They want to refer to raw books written by outsiders. We challenge them to write books on Kenyan law because it's there, so that Kenyans can also be informed about their own country. Yeah. That's a challenge. I would love to explain the difference between publishing and printing. We have quite often been asked by people to quote printing prices for wedding cards, brochures, and things like that. We don't do those things. Those are done by printers. Our job as a publishing firm is brain work, literally brain work. We think what we want to happen. When we want to do a book like the one I'm holding in my hand, we have to think it out first. Think of the title. Think of the dimensions. Think of the content. think of the illustrations, think about everything, and transcribe the same onto a computer. In the older days, you would transcribe the same by hand. These days now, we talk of transcribing the same in a computer. It could be our work, or it could be the work of another. When another comes to us, we tell them, bring whatever you have put down on paper, and we will look at it. And now we do the work of editing and correcting anything that you've done and making it better and marketable. That's our job. When we have envisioned the final product, then we now go to the printers. The printers are the ones who will give us the physical product that you see. But the idea about what and how the physical product will look like, that's our baby. The printer will then do as we have told them, and we will pay them for that. So printing and publishing are two different industries. They are not the same. One is the result of the other. And this book now comes to me from a printer, like the one I have in my hands, is printed by Ramco Industries in Nairobi, but the copyright is to the author and to Moran, because we are the publishers of the book. The ideas, the illustrations, the content in this book belongs to us. But the physical product was brought to us. The people who supplied the paper and the ink were Ramco printers. That is the major difference. It doesn't mean that printing doesn't require thinking. They also require to think, because if they make a mess, if they bring the book without the specifications we had given them, we will reject that work and they will have to reprint again. Printing, of course, takes most of the investments that we put in a book. It's the single highest cost in making a book, printing. The rest of our brain work, as much as it's expensive, we say we can afford that. But the printing job sometimes can be very expensive, especially in Kenya, where ink and paper are all imported, making it very, very expensive. Yes, we don't make inks in Kenya. We don't make paper in Kenya. Webuya collapsed a long time ago, as you know. So every paper that comes into this republic is imported. That's a big challenge also to the industry. I am very passionate about what we do. And I'm very passionate also about my staff being healthy and well looked after. All the more reason why we give our staff lunch. Every member of staff is fed. We give them tea and we give them lunch on a daily basis. That lunch and tea makes them very productive. You'll come here at lunch hour and you'll be served. Nobody will tell you we are crossed for lunch. You'll be served. You come at 5 o'clock. It's supposed to be crossing time, but you'll be served because my people want to serve. So if there is anything that worries me, is when I hear that any of my members of staff is unwell and may not be able to report on duty the next day. Because what that member of staff can do is something I cannot do. And I really would want that member of staff to be there with me. To be honest with you, it's my biggest worry. And I will tell them, I don't mince words. I tell my staff, you are not beneficial to me if you are dead. You are only of real benefit to me so long as you are alive. So everything that I can do in my power as a human being to keep my staff alive, I would do. So if here they are sick, that will keep me awake almost through the night. I care for them. I am a normal human being. I play golf to relieve stress. I used to play golf once a week, sometimes back. As I grow older, I'm increasing the number of days I play golf. Now I'm playing golf almost 3 times a week because it really helps me to relieve stress. But in the process, yes, I do miss my family. Fortunately for me, my family is all grown up. Although recently, I lost one of my daughters who left 2 young boys under my care. Those 2 young boys are a handful. Looking after them after I had almost given up looking after children is another challenge. And for them, yes, it's another light of some sort because they now make me feel younger. We do a few things that make me want to sit and do homework with them, something I wasn't doing before. So I'm being forced to read things I had stopped reading. And sincerely, that makes me feel very, very nice. We will sing in the evening sometimes. They will start something and we start singing. As usual, being boys, they will draw things on the wall and I will be annoyed and chase after them. And they know what they are doing. But yes, in the end, it calms me down when I know that these boys are just being boys. And I've given them a copy of one of the books we produce, we call Even Boys Cry. And they are finding fun reading it because I want them to grow into young and handsome men who will probably not fall by the wayside, the way we've seen things happening in this country. That alone, again, keeps me going and keeps me want to wake up every morning because there is something, a new challenge in my life, especially to bring those boys up. But more than anything else, for me, I don't like entertaining stress. I don't like arguing with the people unnecessarily. If you argue with me, I will walk away because I don't want to invite stress, unnecessary stress into my life. I would prefer people who listen, talk things over, and move on. And it makes me feel happy almost all the time. That's why when I walk here and my staff have done something and some few stars, I'm the first one to tell them, calm down. It's not a matter of life and death. We need to live until tomorrow and the day after, and we comfort each other. So I'm not worried so much about things. Yes, in normal life, I am hypertensive because I want things done and accomplished, but at the same time, I will not force myself to do the impossible. If it's impossible, it's impossible. But if it's possible, we say we should not leave it undone. We must try it. Before we say it's impossible, we must try over and over until we succeed. If you're not happy, you can never deliver anything. So it is very important for you to like what you do. If you like what you do, if the cameraman we have in this house is happy doing his work, the pictures that he will produce will be fantastic. If he is not happy, anything can happen. So happiness, joy, love for what you do is key to success. Success cannot come the other way around. It must start with you liking and laughing what you do. Yes, that's why I am happy coming here every day. As my staff report to work at 6, 7, the latest I report to work myself is 7:30. If I'm later than 7:30, I consider myself late to work. If I give somebody an appointment and I say I'm coming to your place at a certain time, etc., again, if I'm late, I feel guilty because I have made that other person probably unhappy for me being late. So yes, that thing that comes from that enthusiasm that you create from within is very, very important for what you do. And that is the center of happiness. It's not money, it's not Because some people tie money into the happiness. To me, I say no. And that's why I tell you, my staff work. I don't give them overtime, but they work. In the process, if we do a good job, and because they have made me happy, at the end of the year, I'm very comfortable giving them a good bonus. Because they have earned it and they have made me happy in the process. So I feel it's my responsibility also to reciprocate and make them happy. And yeah, the cycle continues. Even when I interact with you, and at the end of the session, you smile and you are happy with what we have done, to me that is success. If I have made somebody feel appreciated, if I have made somebody's life better in any way, I feel successful. I do not take joy if I am the cause of somebody's failure. I do not take joy if I am the reason somebody is unhappy. So to me, your happiness, which you can link with something I have done, is my greatest joy. And to me, that is overall success. Anything else? So I have in the past paid school fees for children I don't even know. I have helped either sometimes paying full fees or sometimes half. And it's so satisfying when the children you have helped come back, some come back, not all, some come back to say thank you, and they even share the grades they achieved because of your assistance. It feels very nice on the inside that you actually help that person do what they have done without asking for something, because we have this tendency that when you give somebody something, you expect something in return. When you give without expecting a return, it is so fulfilling. It is so satisfying. And to me, that is what makes me feel like I have succeeded. Especially when that other person now appreciates and becomes a better person. I feel that is my contribution to the well-being of the person and the building. I love my family particularly very much. If anything were to happen to my family, I would feel literally out of place. Like I mentioned earlier, I lost a daughter in December last year to cancer. It's the biggest blow I have ever felt. People can come and comfort you. People will tell you all good things. And it's nice that we comfort each other. But you cannot replace the love of a close relative. A child, a spouse, a parent, it's tough. So my family, to me, comes first in many areas. As much as my staff come first in place of work, my family also is key. So anything else you can take away, but leave my family intact, and I'll be a happy man.